I've decided to start a new life without you." Those words shattered the carefully orchestrated celebration like glass splintering across a marble floor. The room froze. 50 guests sat in stunned silence at the elegant downtown Augusta restaurant, where we'd gathered to honor my daughter Amelia's college graduation. My husband of 28 years, Gregory Caldwell, still held his champagne glass aloft, as if he had been making a toast to Amelia's achievements, but his announcement clung to the air instead, raw and poisonous. Forks stopped mid-air, conversations dissolved into gasps. All eyes darted from Gregory to me, waiting for my meltdown, for the sobbing wife, the angry accusations, the humiliating spectacle that would make the gossip rounds for years. Instead, I smiled. "Congratulations on your honesty," I said, my voice even, my smile deliberate. "My name is Bianca Caldwell. I am 54 years old, and until this moment, I had played the role of perfect wife and mother flawlessly. I had buried my own ambitions to support Gregory through every failed business, every impulsive career change, every restless experiment at reinventing himself. I raised Amelia almost single-handedly while he chased passions that burned bright and then fizzled. Now Amelia sat beside me, still in her cap and gown, her face frozen with horror. And from across the room I caught sight of Cassandra Wells, Gregory's younger lover, squirming at the back table with mutual friends who had smiled at me for years while keeping his secret. Cassandra, who had shared our Christmas table, who had once sought my advice as if I were a mentor. Betrayal everywhere I looked. Calmly, I reached into my handbag and drew out a cream-colored envelope, its seal intact. I placed it beside Gregory's plate with deliberate care. "What's this?" he asked, triumph flickering uncertainly in his eyes. "Something for later," I answered, steady as stone. I kissed Amelia's cheek and whispered, "I am so proud of you, darling. This day is still yours." Then I stood, smoothed the skirt of my navy dress, and turned to address the silent room. "Please, enjoy your meal. May you all have a pleasant afternoon." And I walked out. No tears, no scene. Just the sound of the heavy door swinging shut, cutting off the rising murmurs. Outside, the blistering summer heat wrapped around me, and for the first time in years, I felt like I could breathe. The weight I'd carried for nearly 3 decades lifted as I stepped into freedom. Behind me, the door slammed open again and Gregory's voice chased after me. High, frantic, no longer confident. "Bianca! What the hell is this? What have you done?" I kept walking, my heels clicking against the pavement, a small smile tugging at my lips. He had no idea that the envelope contained the beginning of his ruin, a carefully constructed revenge I had been preparing for months. I had always been the pragmatic one. While Gregory dreamed, I worked. I saved for Amelia's education while he squandered money on doomed investments. I worked late hours as a finance manager at Truvanta Corp, while he abandoned steady jobs for fleeting passions. And quietly, I had shelved my own dream, launching a consultancy to help women manage their finances. I told myself I'd pursue it later after Amelia graduated, after Gregory finally found stability. Later never came. Instead, 3 months ago, I noticed discrepancies in our joint accounts, small transfers to an unfamiliar destination. I might have confronted him then, but instinct told me to wait. I began tracing the money. What I uncovered left me breathless. Gregory had been siphoning funds for over a year, funding lavish dinners, jewelry, even browsing beachfront properties with Cassandra. And then came the text messages I discovered when he left his phone unlocked. Messages about their new life together, about his freedom, about the very day of Amelia's graduation when he planned to make his grand public exit. He thought I would be blindsided, but Gregory had underestimated me. He forgot that I had been managing money, tracking numbers, and reading patterns for 30 years. He forgot about the prenuptial agreement he himself had demanded nearly 3 decades ago when I had more assets than him. A prenup with a fidelity clause that would now destroy him. Instead of collapsing, I prepared. I hired attorneys. I documented every transfer, every hotel bill, every message. I filed for divorce before graduation morning. And then, as he raised his glass for his grand reveal, I placed his downfall beside his plate. While he fantasized about his new life, I had already secured mine. I didn't return to the restaurant. Instead, I drove home, to the colonial house in Augusta's historic district we had bought 15 years earlier. The house he had already promised Cassandra in his text messages, not knowing I had seen them. Everything inside looked unchanged. The family photos, my father's antique grandfather clock, the sofa where we once laughed together. Yet everything had changed. Upstairs, I found his packed suitcases hidden in the closet, ready for his departure. Predictable, meticulous about clothes but careless about consequences. My phone buzzed nonstop. Friends, Amelia, even his sister Diana. I ignored all but Amelia. I'm okay. This isn't your burden. Enjoy your day. We'll talk tonight. I love you. I had shielded her all semester. She'd be furious I hadn't told her sooner, but she would understand. Hours later, I heard Gregory's car screech into the driveway. The front door slammed open. Bianca. His voice thundered through the house. I sat calmly in the living room, laptop closed, waiting. He stormed in red-faced, envelope crumpled in his hand. What is the meaning of this? Divorce papers. Today of all days. His rage trembled in the air. I thought it suited your timeline. I replied coolly. You wanted a new life. I'm simply streamlining the process. You can't do this. The prenup expired years ago. He snapped, regaining smugness. I smiled. Actually, it didn't. Clause 12. The fidelity provision remains enforceable for the entire marriage. Perhaps your lawyer should have explained that. Oh, wait, you didn't consult one. His face drained of color. The prenup he insisted on, designed to protect him, would now cost him everything. The house, the retirement funds, even his half of the Savannah vacation property. His grand gesture had become the most expensive mistake of his life. You can't do this to me, he whispered, collapsing onto the couch. We built this life together, and you chose to tear it apart, I answered. His phone buzzed incessantly. Cassandra, no doubt, wondering why her fantasy wasn't unfolding as planned. Gregory's tone shifted, softer, pleading. What about our history, Bianca? 28 years. Doesn't that mean anything? I looked at him, the man who held me through miscarriages, who once surprised me with Charleston weekends. When had that man disappeared? Or had I never truly known him? Our history meant everything, I admitted. That's why your betrayal hurt deeper than you can imagine. His eyes softened. Then maybe we can fix this. I made a mistake? No, I said firmly. A mistake is forgetting an anniversary. You spent a year moving money, drafting plans, conspiring with her. That's not a mistake. That's betrayal with intent. I opened my phone, pressed play. His voice filled the room. After graduation, I'll tell her. Public is best. She won't cause a scene. Cassandra's voice chimed in, and she has no idea about the money. His voice again, none. Bianca trusts me completely. That's her weakness. He paled. You recorded us? That's illegal. Not in Georgia. One-party consent, I said evenly. And certainly not in your own home. He shot to his feet. I need to make calls. Start with your lawyer, I said. I'll be at Diana's tonight. She's expecting me, he sputtered. My sister, I nodded. She knows everything. She saw you with Cassandra last Christmas. She confronted you. You lied, so she came to me. His shoulders sagged. Everyone's betraying me. How ironic. I murmured, picking up my bag. Remove your things by tomorrow evening. The locks will be changed. When he invoked Amelia, my fury finally cracked. Don't you dare hide behind her. I hissed. You weren't thinking of her when you schemed your beach life with Cassandra. His phone buzzed again. He groaned. She's at the apartment already. She moved her things in? I smiled coldly. The apartment application, it never went through? The leasing agent called the home line. I intercepted. The lease was denied weeks ago. His world was unraveling faster than he could comprehend. At Diana's charming bungalow, she greeted me with a fierce hug, wine already poured. I can't believe he humiliated you like that, in public, she fumed. He wanted spectacle, I replied. He got it. We sat in her sunroom, surrounded by books and plants, and I explained everything. The prenup, the financial records, the affair. Diana shook her head, laughter tinged with bitterness. The irony. He forced that prenup, and now it's strangling him. My phone rang. Amelia. Mom, I'm coming over, she said, voice thick with tears. Dad is telling everyone you've lost your mind. He's saying awful things. Let him, I answered. Truth has a way of surfacing. 20 minutes later, Amelia arrived, still in her gown, mascara streaked. She collapsed into my arms. Why didn't you tell me? I didn't want to ruin your semester, I whispered. You deserve joy today. Her voice hardened. Well, Dad ruined it for both of us. We sat with Diana, and I laid bare the story. Amelia's jaw clenched. I knew he was distracted, always on his phone. but stealing from us, letting me work 2 jobs for textbooks while he spoiled her. Her fury was like a mirror of mine. My phone buzzed again. A message from Philip, my attorney. The emergency order had been approved. Accounts frozen. Gregory's empire crumbling. Amelia rated and whispered, "Good. He deserves worse." The doorbell rang. Diana returned troubled. "It's Gregory." And he brought Cassandra. They entered. Gregory's face was a mask of fury, Cassandra pale and fidgeting. "Bianca, unfreeze the accounts," Gregory demanded. "We'll settle this like adults." Amelia stood tall, blocking me. "Maybe you should have thought of that before humiliating Mom. Before lying to us." Gregory blinked at her, stunned. "This doesn't involve you?" "Doesn't involve me." She spat. "You blew up our family on my graduation day." Cassandra tugged his sleeve. "Greg, maybe we should go." "No," he snapped. "Not until Bianca stops this madness." Diana crossed her arms. "Madness? The only madness here is yours. The accounts stay frozen until the hearing," I said calmly. 3 days? Gregory's voice cracked. 3 days. What am I supposed to do? "Live on the money you funneled into your secret account," I said. Cassandra's head whipped toward him. "Secret account. With how much?" The cracks widened. She hadn't known everything either. Gregory ignored her. "This isn't you, Bianca. You're vindictive now." "Perhaps you never knew me at all?" I answered. Amelia stepped forward. "Did you know he planned to announce it today? In front of everyone?" She asked Cassandra. Cassandra flushed. "I thought it would be private. I didn't know he'd humiliate you like that." Gregory's glare cut into her. "The fracture was complete?" "You should leave," Diana said sharply. "You've done enough damage." Gregory turned, desperation flaring. "Amelia, please. You must understand. People grow apart." Amelia's eyes burned. "I understand you're a coward. I understand you lied while I sacrificed for this family. Leave, Dad. Now." The silence was thick, final. At last, Gregory stormed out, Cassandra trailing behind, muttering under her breath. At the door, he turned back. "This isn't over. You're welcome to try," I said evenly. Amelia collapsed onto the sofa, sobbing. "I've never spoken to Dad like that." I wrapped her close. "Sometimes standing up for truth hurts, but it's necessary." Diana raised her glass. "To new beginnings?" For the first time, I believed it. Days later, in a rain-soaked courtroom, I sat beside Philip while Gregory fidgeted with a young, inexperienced lawyer. The judge entered, gavel striking. My evidence was stacked neatly before me. Gregory's empire of lies was crumbling publicly now. And as I breathed deeply, I realized this wasn't just an ending. This was my beginning.